Welcome to Fantastic Vision. Please subscribe us before you watch today's video. In recent years, the United States has been continuously expanding chip restrictions. After issuing the most stringent new export control regulations in history in October last year, it began to actively recruit allies to jointly restrict chips. It first promoted the four-party chip alliance and then implemented the tripartite agreement. Under pressure and urging from the United States, Japan, South Korea, Europe and others began to cooperate in implementing restrictions. Of course, China will not turn a blind eye to this and will implement precise countermeasures. Recently, 24 hours after the United States upgraded its ban, China took action again. Because China developed relatively late, Western countries have a greater advantage in science and technology, so they can easily earn high profits with their leading technology. Especially after the rise of the semiconductor industry, the United States has taken a leading advantage. In order to continue to obtain high profits, the United States, together with Europe, Japan, South Korea and others, reached the Wassenaar Agreement with the purpose of preventing China from acquiring Western technology. Even if a country wants to export technology to China, it will be blocked by the United States. Nowadays, the chip restrictions implemented by the United States have become even more severe, trying to completely hinder China's development of high-end chip industry. At first, because Huawei was the world leader in 5G, the United States only imposed a chip ban on companies. Later, the scope continued to expand, and thousands of related companies such as SMIC, Shanghai Microelectronics, and Yangtze Memory were added to the entity list. From targeting enterprises to targeting the entire chip industry, the most obvious one is the restriction of advanced semiconductor manufacturing equipment. Not only has American companies cut off supply, but Japan and the Netherlands have also implemented export controls, and ASML, Tokyo Electronics, etc., have also restricted exports. This is simply to implement an all-round containment. We will no longer blindly tolerate China and begin to implement a number of precise countermeasures. First, it revised the catalogue of technologies that are prohibited from exporting and restricted from export, adding technologies such as photovoltaic silicon wafer preparation, LIDAR and rare earth refining and processing, strictly restricting the outflow of important core technologies, and other countries can only purchase related products from China. Not only that, China has also implemented export controls, directly restricting the export of germanium and gallium-related items. These two rare metals are also important raw materials for semiconductor and other related industries, and other countries basically import them from China. This directly hurt Western countries, because even if it takes more than 10 years, this problem cannot be solved. The United States even planned to recycle and refine waste products, but to no avail, so it began to make goodwill with China. Later, China issued export licenses to American companies. But I didn't expect that not long after, the United States began to expand the chip ban again. Recently, the United States plans to expand its chip ban and restrict the export of artificial intelligence chips. It has also added many AI-related companies, such as Byron Technology, and more Thread to the entity list, and it also wants to restrict the technological development of China's artificial intelligence field. In this case, the export of mainland-specific GPU chips launched by NVIDIA, Intel, AMD, etc. will be restricted. Of course, China would not ignore this, so it quickly launched new and precise countermeasures. 24 hours after the United States upgraded its ban, relevant departments announced that they would implement export controls on some graphite items starting from December 1. Graphite is one of the most widely used materials in pure electric vehicle manufacturing, with China accounting for about 2/3 of global production. In particular, China controls more than 80% of high-purity graphite, which is indispensable in the field of automotive battery anode materials. According to industry insiders, China not only has the largest graphite production in the world, but also masters the technologies related to graphite materials. As far as anode materials are concerned, China's production and supply of graphite anode materials for EV and energy storage lithium batteries accounts for 97% of the world. The most critical thing is not the problem of graphite ore, but after nearly 20 years of development, China has mastered core technologies such as purification, ball milling, coating, and carbonization of graphite materials, and these core technologies have reached the top of the world. Although the United States, Europe, Japan, South Korea, etc. have some technologies and some resources, it is difficult for them to form a production capacity scale, and they all still rely on China. Therefore, China's countermeasures this time can be said to be precise countermeasures, similar to those of rare earths. The restrictions are pretty much the same. Everyone in China knows that new energy vehicles are a hot industry in the future, and one of the important industries with fierce global competition. China's implementation of export controls on some items of graphite will have an important impact on industries such as the United States, Europe, Japan, and South Korea. In this regard, some foreign media directly stated that Western restrictions have completely failed. This time, the export control of graphite-related items implemented by China is no less than that of germanium, gallium, and rare earth materials. The implementation of chip restrictions by the United States has finally damaged itself and its allies' foot.